In a quiet town in West Texas, a bank worker arrives to open the Texas Midland Bank. Then, two masked men rush inside with guns. They force her into the bank and demand money, but the safe isn't open yet. When she laughs at how amateur they look, one of the men loses his temper and throws her to the ground. Then the bank manager shows up. One of the robbers, Tanner, knocks him out while they grab as much cash as they can from the drawers. Soon after, they run out through a back alley, leaving their getaway car behind to avoid being tracked by the police. These robbers aren't random criminals. They're brothers. Tanner Howard is a hot-headed ex-con with a wild side, while Toby Howard is quiet man. On the road, Toby scolds Tanner for being too rough, warning that they can't let this turn violent. Next, the brothers hit another Texas Midland branch in a nearby small town. Inside, a teller is checking some old coins brought by an elderly customer. Just as she mentions the coins might be valuable, the brothers burst in and take control. Tanner points his gun at the teller, ordering her to empty the drawers but avoiding large bills to stay under the radar. Meanwhile, Toby calmly approaches the old man, makes sure he's not a threat, and carefully takes away his pistol, showing they don't want to hurt anyone. With the cash, they head outside. But just before reaching their car, the old man fires his gun. He misses, but it's a close call. As they drive off, Toby warns Tanner again to stop the reckless behavior. To pull off their plan, they have to stay focused and follow the plan closely. After their second robbery, Toby and Tanner return to their worn-down family ranch. They use a backhoe to bury the getaway car deep in a hole, erasing any evidence. Now one thing's clear, there's no turning back now. This is hell or high water.
They aren't done yet.
Meanwhile, the case lands on the desk of Texas Ranger Marcus Hamilton, a veteran investigator close to retirement. For Marcus, this string of robberies isn't just another job, it's his last chance for action before he has to retire. Working with him is Ranger Alberto Parker, younger and mixed race, who often becomes the target of Marcus's old-fashioned, sometimes racially tinged jokes. But Alberto stands his ground, throwing back jokes about Marcus's age. Despite the teasing, they work well together as a team. Since the stolen money adds up to just about $7,000, the FBI steps aside and leaves the Rangers fully in charge. Back at the ranch, the brothers come together again. Tanner looks around and points out how rundown everything is, the land, the cattle, even the house. While counting their cash, Toby says their mother had been very sick, and he stayed behind to care for her until she died. Tanner, who wasn't there during that time, now sees her empty hospital bed and leftover medicine in her room. Guilt hits him hard. They sit down and go over their mother's will. Toby tells Tanner the land was left to him, but the debt must be paid by Friday or the bank will take everything. Toby wants to keep the ranch for his sons, but only if it's fully paid off. Tanner thinks back on their tough childhood, recalls their abusive father, and even hints that he might have had a role in his father's death. Meanwhile, Marcus and Alberto arrive at the first robbed bank. The manager can't help much. The security cameras were down for upgrades, so there's no video evidence. But Marcus notices the robbers only took small bills, avoiding any money that could be traced. When they talk to the employee who faced the robbers, she says they looked sloppy but acted like they knew exactly what they were doing. Marcus writes down every detail, starting to understand the mindset of the men thereafter. Later that day, Toby and Tanner stop at a quiet diner by the road to eat. While having breakfast, Tanner brings up Toby's kids and is surprised to learn they still don't know their grandmother has passed away. Toby admits he hasn't talked to them much lately. Tanner urges him to visit the boys soon, before their plan plays out. From his seat, Tanner spots a bank across the street, but it's not a Texas Midland branch. Without saying a word, Tanner suddenly leaves Toby to pay the bill. But as Toby steps outside, he sees Tanner casually walking out of the bank, holding a bag of cash. Tanner just robbed it, without telling Toby or following their plan. Toby is furious because this risky move could get them caught. Tanner just shrugs and tells him to drive fast. After barely escaping, the brothers return to the ranch. Like before, they use heavy machinery to crush and bury the getaway car, erasing all evidence. Knowing another robbery is coming, they steal a new car and prepare to move again. Meanwhile, Marcus and Alberto are driving back to their office when they get a call about a bank was just robbed. The description fits Tanner. They immediately turn around and rush to the scene. Meanwhile, Toby and Tanner make a quick stop at Tanner's trailer. Tanner lives there rent-free because he does a grim favor for the landlord by shooting stray dogs on a nearby property. While packing up, Tanner grabs several rifles. Toby doesn't like the idea, but after a bit of arguing, he lets Tanner take the weapons along. Next, they cross into Oklahoma to continue their plan for money laundering. Meanwhile, back at the latest robbery site, Marcus interviews the teller and learns that only one man had a gun. The suspect took the cash and ran to a car parked right outside a nearby diner. At the same time, Alberto checks the security cameras, which were working this time. After gathering the basic info, Marcus heads to the diner to look for more clues. One of the waiters remembers two unfamiliar men who had just eaten there before the robbery. The waitress who served them confirms it too. She says they paid with cash and left a big tip, almost $200. Marcus asks her to give the tip money as evidence. But she refuses, saying they need proof the men are guilty and he'll need a warrant. She explains that tip helps her keep her home and feed her kids. Marcus backs off but writes down everything. Based on the robbery pattern and locations, Marcus figures the brothers are hitting nearby bank branches one by one. He tells Alberto to book them a room nearby so they can watch the remaining branches closely. Meanwhile, Toby and Tanner stop at a Native American-run casino to clean their stolen money. They trade their cash for chips. Tanner heads straight to the poker tables and starts winning, while Toby stays by the bar with a big pile of chips next to him. After finishing up, they go to the cashier. Tanner puts some of their winnings in cash in his pocket, while Toby turns the rest into a cashier's check made out to Texas Midland Bank. Later that night, they check into a nearby hotel. Tanner flirts with the front desk clerk and ends up spending the night with her, which annoys Toby, who is stuck in the room with them, and hears everything all night. The next morning, Toby and Tanner meet with their family lawyer. He tells them they need $40,000 by Thursday or the bank will take their late mother's land. He supports their plan and knows that Texas Midland had taken advantage of their mother's poverty to get the land for a very low price. To avoid raising suspicion, he suggests keeping Texas Midland as the trustee, but putting the deed in the names of Toby's sons. Meanwhile, Marcus and Alberto start watching a Texas Midland branch in a small West Texas town. They pick a diner across the street to keep an eye on things. Back on the road, Toby and Tanner buy a used pickup truck for what they hope will be their final robbery. But before moving on, Toby takes a detour. He visits his ex-wife and kids to tell them their grandmother has passed away. His oldest son walks away silently, and Toby follows him outside with a drink. He explains that the ranch is now held in a trust under Toby's and Tanner's names. He adds that there's oil on the land, enough to secure their future. Toby leaves with a final warning that they can believe whatever stories they hear about him and Tanner, but they shouldn't follow their path. Meanwhile, back at the diner, Marcus and Alberto keep watching the bank. The next morning, just after sunrise, Toby and Tanner prepare for what they hope is their last job. They bring 2 cars and set up a careful escape plan, but when they reach the first bank, they find it closed for good. Surprised, they regroup. Tanner quickly suggests hitting the bigger Texas Midland branch in post. Toby hesitates but agrees. They drive off, leaving one vehicle hidden on the edge of town and get ready for the next step. Meanwhile, Marcus and Alberto study a map, trying to figure out their target. Out of 7 Texas Midland branches, 2 have been robbed already, 1 is closed, 1 is still under watch, and the one in Fort Worth is too dangerous. That leaves just 1, which is Post. After a quick discussion, they decide it's time to act. At the same time, Tanner and Toby are already on their way to Post. They left a car hidden outside town for their getaway. Toby is nervous. This bank is bigger and busier than any they've hit before. But Tanner stays calm and reminds Toby this is the last one. When they arrive, the bank is packed with customers. Tanner bursts in, gun raised, demanding money. Toby waits by the entrance, keeping watch. Suddenly, a silent alarm goes off. Soon, a customer and a security guard pull out guns. Shots ring out. Tanner reacts fast, taking them down and dragging Toby outside. As they run, they face a crowd of armed townspeople. Bullets fly everywhere. The brothers fight their way to the truck. Toby gets shot in the side, but it's not serious. Inside the truck, he presses on the wound while Tanner speeds off, trying to escape the chaos. But the crowd is close behind. Finally, Tanner turns onto a remote dirt road and slams on the brakes. He jumps out, grabs an M16 rifle, and fires a barrage of bullets at their pursuers, forcing them to scatter. With the danger gone for now, he helps Toby into the second car they hid earlier. Before they go their separate ways, Tanner tells Toby to return to the Native American casino in Oklahoma and clean the rest of their stolen cash. When Toby asks what Tanner plans to do, Tanner doesn't give a clear answer, just a look and a nod, no goodbyes. Then they part ways. Shortly after, Marcus and Alberto get the alert about the robbery and join the state troopers in the chase. Meanwhile, Tanner, now alone, spots a convoy of police vehicles ahead and quickly turns off to avoid them. He reaches a rough hill, stops his truck, and soaks it in gasoline. Then, he sets it on fire. The burning truck rolls down the hill, crashes onto the road, and explodes right in front of the cops. Amid the smoke and chaos, Tanner runs up the hill with a rifle, ready for a final fight. From his hidden spot on the hill, Tanner fires his hunting rifle, keeping the police pinned down. During the shootout, one bullet hits Alberto in the head, killing him instantly. Marcus watches in horror as his partner falls. Though devastated, he has no time to stop. Soon, local townspeople who joined the chase arrive. Shaken, Marcus asks them for help to surround Tanner's position. One man offers to lead Marcus to a better spot. Marcus agrees, and together they climb a narrow path on the hillside. Once they reach the new position, the man hands Marcus his rifle. Taking a deep breath to steady himself, Marcus adjusts the scope, aims at Tanner, and fires. The shot hits Tanner in the throat, and he falls immediately. It's over. Meanwhile, Toby avoids police roadblocks by hiding his injury and staying calm. He makes it back to the Native American casino and cleans the last of their stolen money. While waiting, he watches the news report that one robbery suspect has been killed. Toby's expression shows he knows exactly who it is. Later, Toby goes into a Texas Midland bank branch. Calm and confident, he gives the cashier's check to pay off the debt on his family's land. When the bank manager says the paperwork will be sent to his lawyer, Toby insists it be done right there, in front of him. Before leaving, he also asks about setting up a trust for the property. Back at the Texas Rangers office, Marcus, now officially retired, stops by for a visit. His old co-workers welcome him warmly. One of them gives him the update that the case is closed. Tanner's history is fully documented, including his father's murder and the string of robberies that followed. There's no doubt Tanner was the leader. However, when Marcus asks about the younger brother, the answer is different. No witnesses could clearly identify Toby. He has no criminal record, and even Texas Midland, which now manages the family land trust, isn't charging him. Legally, Toby is free and clear. With the oil well on the ranch now pumping, Toby starts getting steady income, more than they ever stole. But Marcus still feels uneasy. Something is bothering him. So instead of waiting for the system to give him answers, he decides to find them himself. Marcus heads to the ranch to confront Toby. When Marcus arrives, Toby meets him at the door holding a rifle. There's a tense moment, but it quickly passes. Toby lowers the gun, invites Marcus inside, and offers him a beer. Marcus doesn't waste time. He tells Toby what he believes Toby was the mastermind behind the robberies. Tanner might have been the reckless one, but Toby had the real reason to save the family land and secure a future for his kids. Marcus pushes Toby to take responsibility for Alberto's death and the pain caused by their actions. Toby responds calmly. His family had been trapped in poverty for generations, and he did what he needed to break free. The two exchange quiet but serious words. Nothing loud, but every sentence matters. Just as the tension getting intense, Toby's ex-wife and kids arrive. Instantly, Toby hides the tension, introduces Marcus as an old friend, and casually says the rifle was just for scaring off wild hogs. Toby says the ranch doesn't belong to him anymore. It belongs to his sons. He says he'll only stop by sometimes to help and be part of their lives, but the land is theirs now. As Marcus gets ready to leave, Toby offers one last thought. If Marcus ever wants to talk again, he knows where to find him. Marcus nods, knowing they might talk again someday, but it won't change what's done. The end. So the moral of the story is, don't rob banks with your reckless brother, it never ends well.